Namo Amida Bu. Greetings. Um, this is a big event in my life. This is probably one of the biggest events in my life since receiving Shinjin. Uh, this is a proclamation of my belonging to a new Jodo Shinshu School of Buddhism. And I want to read this to you. I posted this recently on VK. Dave Kruemcke, let it be known, I am a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist of the Amidaji Lineage. This means that I take the teachings of the Pure Land Masters such as Honen, Shinran, and Rennyo quite literally. I do not adhere to such heresies as Amida Buddha is a fictional character and his Pure Land merely a mythical representation of the enlightened mind. I am of an orthodox branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, a Pure Land sect, and take the words of Shakyamuni Buddha and the real, actual existence of Amida Buddha and his Pure Land of ultimate bliss and peace to be absolute facts. I am connected to Amida Buddha through faith and shall go to his Pure Land when I die in my next life. There I shall become a fully enlightened Buddha. Dave Kruemcke, Shaku Joshin, Namo Amida Bu. The reason this is such a big deal to me is that I've had some problems belonging to Nichi Hongwanji because of certain heresies that have been accepted in the church, in the Buddhist organization. Nichi Hongwanji is the traditional Jodo Shinshu branch of Buddhism. And in later years, they have pandered to certain social norms and allowed into their ranks certain acceptance of certain heresies that should not have any place in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Masters Shinran and Rennyo were very clear in teaching the reality of Amitabh Buddha and his Pure Land. And so it is with great honor that I proclaim my allegiance to this new branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, which actually is, if you want to look at it, the very oldest practice of the Amida Dharma in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, because Masters Rennyo, Shonen, Honen, Nagarjuna, there was never ever a question in these individuals' minds of the reality of Amitabha Buddha and his Pure Land. But in modern times, there has just been this unspoken acceptance that Amida is a fictional character. And if you don't believe me, just leave your comments open and refer to Amida as a real Buddha, and you'll get attacked mostly by Theravada Buddhists, Christians, and others that say that I'm not even going to go into what they say about him, but it's Dharma slander. It's slandering the Buddha. Amitabha Buddha is the greatest of all Buddhas because he offers us the most simple, direct means of attaining enlightenment, knowing full well that in this Dharma ending age of Mappo, we are not capable of bringing ourselves to enlightenment through our own merits. And to those who believe that we can, that's all fine and good, but Name for me one person you can point to in our modern society who is a fully enlightened Buddha or Bodhisattva or Arhat. I can't think of any. And that is not to attack anyone of any other Buddhist lineage. I have great respect for all branches of Buddhism. We are all followers of the words of Shakyamuni Buddha. But I would make it clear that not all schools of Buddhism are the same. There is a saying in Buddhism that Shakyamuni made his teachings according to expedient means, meaning that different people can come to enlightenment through different means. Means that are expedient to that particular individual at that particular time in their life. A lot of Shakyamuni's teachings were set up during his lifetime. Well, all of Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings were set up during his lifetime, but when Shakyamuni was alive, his Buddha field was at its strongest. It was super easy at that time to hear his teachings and to obtain enlightenment in the quickest fashion through whatever Dharma means he presented at that time. It has since then been way over 2,500 years since Shakyamuni Buddha has passed into nirvana. And all Buddhas are present to us. All Buddhas are here. But the Buddha that is most important to me, my life, based on my situation, is Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha was at one time Dharmakara Bodhisattva, a man who recognized the sad fate of all sentient beings trapped in the endless cycle of births and deaths in the Saha realms, in the lower realms, even in the higher realms. Because there's no higher state of being other than Buddhahood. Buddhahood is the awakened state. It is the state one receives where they are not destined to be trapped in endless cycles of birth and death, in God realms, in hell realms, in ghost realms, in the realms of animals, as humans. And we all know what it's like being a human. We have the best of intentions, and as someone once said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because try as I may, I can't fix myself. And I've realized I'm not going to be fixed in this lifetime. My life has gotten better. My heart has come to rest on the knowledge that having been saved by Amitabha Buddha, a glorious future as a living Buddha awaits me in my next life. In this life, I'm here. In this life, I do the best I can. And for me, the best I can is to offer up to all of you what I've experienced in my life, how I've come to salvation through my relationship with Amitabha Buddha. And I can't really do that very successfully If I'm aligned with a Buddhist organization that allows its members to say Amitabha Buddha and his Pure Land are myths, Amitabha Buddha is a fictional character like Santa Claus or Hamlet. He represents this, that, or the other. The Pure Land is a representation of the enlightened mind. The Pure Land is just some kind of ethereal concept, and what it really means is that you can experience the Pure Land through enlightenment in the here and now. Well, good luck with that, because it's not. Amitabha Buddha is not a fictional character any more than the Pure Land is some concept meant to do something for us by teaching us to live in the here and now. I live in the here and now every moment of my life. I honestly can say I do the best I can every moment of my life. And that's not saying a lot. It's not. I have the best of intentions. I'm very human. Sorry, my hair is messed up this morning. I'm very human. I'm very fallible. And I have to accept that. I don't know how many years I have left, but I'm getting older. I'm seeing the ravages of time in my life, in my body, in my appearance, in my vision, in my health. I don't have time to screw around and play games. I don't have time to pretend I'm the perpetual Peter Pan and that, I don't have time to go to the smorgasbord of New Age and religious teaching. I know a lot of people like that. They call themselves this, that, or the other, and yet they're a jack of all trades, which means they're a master of nothing. I'm a master of nothing, but I know who my master is. My master is clearly, indisputably, Amitabha Buddha, the greatest of all living Buddhas. My goal is, without question, the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha, the Buddha of infinite light and life, an actual, real realm of existence, more glorious than any other realm in existence. These are not concepts. And I repeat myself because there are a lot of people you will meet in life that refer to themselves as Buddhists who are into everything from astrology to feng shui to calling themselves Christians on the side, or Muslims or Hindus. And if you want to be a Muslim or Hindu or New Ager, hey, more power to you, whatever makes you happy. I am a follower of the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha. The larger and smaller Amitabha Sutras were spoken of by Shakyamuni Buddha. He spoke them into being. He did not lie. These were not mere fables. I know this because in the beginning of the larger sutra, Ananda asks Shakyamuni about his glorious, radiant appearance. Shakyamuni goes on to say what he is about to teach is of the greatest importance, and then he talks about and expounds the Dharma teaching of the Lotus Sutra. I mean, of the larger Amitabha Sutra. Sorry, I haven't had enough caffeine yet. The Amitabha Sutra is the most profound teaching in existence, and I speak this from a very personal place in my life. I can see why Shakyamuni's face was radiant, indeed glowing, when he gave the sutra to the world, because this sutra, above all other teachings I have ever encountered in my life, has permanently and profoundly, indelibly changed my life forever. This is why I make this video proclaiming myself to be a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist of the lineage of Amidaji. Because the lineage of Amidaji is a school of orthodox Jodo Shinshu teaching. It is a school that proclaims the absolute supremacy of Amitabha Buddha as the greatest of all Buddhas. It proclaims the absolute truth of the existence of Amitabha Buddha in his pure land. It is a Dharma school that calls heresies heresies and refuses to allow into its ranks or teaching those teachings and individuals who profound the teachings of heresy that watered down the message of Amitabha Buddha and his salvation. The whole thing behind Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is the teaching that we are saved by entrusting ourselves and our karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha. And we can't really experience that if we're entrusting ourselves and our destiny to some fable, some myth, some made-up character. You can't really take seriously the Amida Dharma if Amida and his Dharma are based on lies, which they are not. You can't really, it doesn't really make a point to read the larger sutra and the glories of the Pure Land that are meant to inspire us to go to the Pure Land if the Pure Land is just some kind of weak representation for gaining nirvana here in the here and now. One of the most popular teachers of the heresies that are plaguing Jodo Shinshu Buddhism today is Al Bloom, who has openly admitted to some of his former followers that he does not believe in the existence of Amitabha Buddha and his Pure Land, which I think is the stupidest thing. I mean, you join a branch of Buddhism that is based on salvation in the Pure Land through entrusting to Amitabha Buddha, but you don't believe he exists. This is intentionally fomenting and propagating heretical teachings in the Jodo Shinshu community. According to Master Shinran, those who do so are destined to the hell realm. And I take the hell realm seriously. Shakyamuni Buddha speaks of demons. He speaks of Mara. He speaks of the hell realms. I don't think Shakyamuni Buddha was into lying to people. I know that because I have been saved by Amitabha Buddha. I know this is a fact. I know I am connected to Amitabha Buddha. I would not devote this many years of my life to living this faith-based school of Buddhist practice if I did not know this to be true. I would not waste my time on this YouTube channel proclaiming the reality of Amitabha Buddha if I believed him to be a fictional character. I mean, what would be the point? What would it mean? Why would I even bother? It'd be a waste of my time. This is why I need to know that the organization I belong to, as a devout orthodox practitioner of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, is a devout orthodox branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. There comes a point in your life when you take your faith seriously, as many of you have seen in these videos, when you have to part ways with those who don't take the Dharma seriously, but proclaim themselves to be something they're not. And like I said, you do you, but don't call yourself one thing and then turn out to be someone totally different. I've recently done a video, a year ago, I did a video on a former friend of mine who I love dearly that I met online. And that friend, I've actually had several friends that I loved dearly online who proclaimed themselves as devout practicing Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. They weren't. They were Jodo Shinshu one minute quoting Shinran and Honen. The next minute they were adherents and practitioners of everything from Mormonism to, Christianity to Unitarian Universalism. Pick and choose what you want to believe. And some people have no problem with this. I do. Because for me, my Jodo Shinshu Buddhist faith is the culmination of years of torment and spiritual suffering and agony from seeking the truth and not being able to find it. The day I received and experienced Amitabha Buddha's supreme gift of Shinjin through simple faith was the greatest day of my life, hands down. I have never rejoiced from my heart so much as the day when I received Shinjin as a follower of Paul Roberts, someone else who proclaimed Amitabha Buddha in his pure land as real and actual. I could not have received Shinjin without having encountered that good teacher who was Paul Roberts, who now resides in the Pure Land as a living Buddha. Not because of anything great he did in this world, but because of his simple faith in Amitabha Buddha and his entrusting himself to Amitabha Buddha and wishing to be reborn in his Pure Land. whatever differences me and Paul may have had during our life here in this Saha realm, that does not change the fact that this was a man of faith up until the end. Because once you truly receive Shinjin, there's no going back. There's no backsliding. I know this because I would have backslidden a long time ago from this, based on my experience with other religions and ideologies I've been adherents of and practicers of. I generally did not stick with anything for a long time. What took place in my life the moment I had the one thought moment of Shinjin, standing there in my kitchen, frying up venison sausage before going off to work as a barista, knocked me to the ground. In the deepest spiritual sense of the word, my whole perception of reality changed with that realization that I was saved by Amitabha Buddha, and therefore there was no doubt Amitabha Buddha was a real Buddha. And there is no doubt in my mind, and there will be no doubt in my mind, even if my mind itself decays and I become a demented old man locked in some obscure nursing home to be abused and cast away until death, it doesn't change anything. What I received that moment, I received Shinjin from the living Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, transcends this mortal shell I live in and this delusory dream state I reside in as part of that dream. Because at that moment, I received the benefit of the 18th vow of Dharmakara Bodhisattva. At that moment, I knew that because I had completely given myself over to Amitabha Buddha and entrusted myself and my karmic destiny to him, and I remember doing that at this shrine, I knew that my karma had received the stage of ripening where Amitabha knew it was time for me to receive the one thought moment of Shinjin. That was the day I received a diamond-like faith. My faith, as I've said in previous videos, is pure. That's the only thing pure about me is my faith. That's why I'm called Shaku Joshin as my Dharma name. Shaku means follower of Shakyamuni Buddha. Joshin means pure faith. My faith is pure in the teaching of the larger sutra as taught by Shakyamuni Buddha. Nothing will change this. As a Christian, I used to worry about losing my mind or going crazy because at that time, given my tumultuous, abusive upbringing, I wrestled with many emotional and psychological problems. And so it was a valid worry. Because if I knew if I lost faith in Jesus, or if I cursed Jesus or the Holy Spirit, I would be damned to eternal hell. So basically it depended on me being a righteous man. You know, it was the same in New Age teaching and Buddhism, where the stress was in self-practice Buddhism as well as in New Age was in saving yourself, learning a new technique, a new way of thinking, a new way of navigating the here and now through mind tricks, through koans, through how can you trick your mind using your unenlightened, damaged mind that was formed here in the Saha realm? Well, a lot of people would ask me, okay, well, Dave, how can you do that through Shinjin? How does simple faith in Amida Buddha change that? That is where the term other power comes in. That day I received the one thought moment of Shinjin, I did not come to a realization. My mind was opened through the revelation of Amitabha Buddha to me. I did not obtain Shinjin through my good merits. I mentioned the ripening of my karma. And what that means is that I had received, through striving on the path, through countless lifetimes, I guess, a point where I can be open to that simple message of faith, which Amitabha's light shines to everyone. It's not about being righteous or good that one receives Shinjin. In fact, the reason I received Shinjin was because I knew I was crap. I mean, I was a mess. I was a train wreck. I couldn't not screw things up on the spiritual path. It was only when I was able to reach a point of openness to the message of Amitabha's salvation through entrusting to him and wishing to be reborn in his pure land, that I was able to receive Shinjin. Everything is karma here in the Saha realm. And so it stands to reason your karma has to ripen to a point where you can actually be open to the real existence of Amitabha Buddha and his pure land. To those of you who say, I can't get to that point, this is what I did. I admitted that I was at that point to Amitabha Buddha. I bowed before that shrine, that altar, and I said, look, I don't know if you're real. I have my doubts, but there's a part of me that tells me you're real. So if you are real, Amitabha Buddha, you alone are able to save me. I can't bring myself to Shinjin. And I bowed on my face and I said, I entrust myself and my karmic destiny to you, trusting that in your time, in your ability, if truly all I've heard from you is true, all I've heard about you being a great Buddha who brings enlightenment and brings us to the pure land through simple faith is true, you will do that in your own time, in your own way, when you feel the time is right. And I left it there. That's called entrusting yourself and your karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha. Sure enough, when I least expected it, that one thought realization that I was saved by Amitabha Buddha came. No tricks of the mind, no philosophies or head games. A simple knowing transpired in my mind, in my heart, which I have not been able to screw up ever since. And trust me, if there was a way to screw up Shinjin, I could do it. I'm talented that way. I can screw up things perfectly. What this also reveals to me is that Shinjin does not come from me. Otherwise, I would be able to screw it up. And I would go off into, I would have already been off into probably, I would say 10 or 15 different ideologies I would have tried by now. If Shinjin was a spiritual, experience I had gone through, or some meditative, some stage of meditation, or some, phenomenon of the mind, I would have screwed it up, as I've screwed up everything from Zen to Nichiren to every New Age philosophy and practice, and including Christianity. And I can honestly tell you that each and everything I tried prior to receiving Shinjin, I gave it my all. And I gave it all to Amida Buddha in an attempt to receive Shinjin. And there reached a point I had to admit my all wasn't enough. I couldn't do it. I couldn't make myself believe in Amida Buddha. I couldn't make myself believe in his Pure Land. I don't have that power. Belief, true, pristine faith in Amida Buddha comes from the living Buddha Amitabh. You are not capable of generating that on your own. Buddhas are enlightened beings. They alone have the ability to pierce through the wall of doubts and fears and unsureties that we have. And every human being has that wall of doubt, of distrust, unsurety, that prevents us from truly giving into pure faith. This is why I know Amida Buddha has saved me. It wasn't me that saved me. That day when I was frying up venison sausage in my kitchen, I wasn't thinking about Buddha. I wasn't thinking about anything other than the fact I had to deal with the crap I was going through at work with my coworkers and with customers, and the stress that I was going through at that particular point in my life, which was many years ago. Life has gotten a lot better for me since then. But at that point, I was at chaos in my life, in my relationships, both at work and at home. My life was filled with paranoid doubt and fear, and at times thoughts of committing suicide. My life was, in the truest sense of the word, a train wreck. So I wasn't at that pure Zen state of mind, and at that time I was basically a Zen practitioner who had gone over to Jodo Shinshu through Paul Roberts' Yahoo group. But at that point I just basically considered myself a Buddhist, but I was seeking Shinjin. I was entrusting myself to Amida Buddha, and I may have called myself Jodo Shinshu. I think at that time I considered myself just a Pure Land Buddhist of the Chinese tradition. But I didn't really take it. I was like most Buddhists today, here in the modern world. I was a Buddhist. I just, a little bit of Zen, a little bit of Nichiren, a little bit of, and my you just, take it all with a grain of salt. So I wasn't at a calm, serene, disciplined state of mind when the one thought moment of Shinjin hit me like a ton of bricks. At that time, I turned off, as I remember correctly, I turned off my walk and immediately got online and told Paul Roberts on the Yahoo group, True Shin Buddhism at Yahoo groups, that I had received Shinjin. Tears were rolling down my face at that time. I knew without a doubt I had found what I had been looking for all my life in Shinjin. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that my life would never be the same again, and it hasn't been. I knew at that moment, although I did not know how or why, that this was not going to simply go away like everything else I had ever done. And it hasn't, and it never will. My body may go away. My mind may go away. I may become demented and, like I said, and be locked in a nursing home eventually. I may go insane. I may get schizophrenia. I may get hit by a bus. I may get any number of diseases that humans are prone to in this Saha realm of suffering and desire. It's irrelevant to the diamond-like faith that pierces beyond my mind, my body, my consciousness. I know that the 18th primal vow of Dharmakara Bodhisattva is real because I experience it each and every day. And you can't be open to that experience from a real Buddha who is going to send you to a real pure land that exists. If you belong to an organization that kind of says, hey, do what you want to. Hey, some of us believe Amida's real, some of us believe the Pure Land's real, and a lot of us, most of us, we just think it's, he's a representation for, the Dharma path, and, a Pure Land, that means living in the here and now, and you can make the world a better place. Bullshit. I am so proud today to proclaim that I belong to an orthodox, truly orthodox branch of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, known as the School of Amidaji. It is an uncompromising branch of Buddhism that unapologetically proclaims the reality of Amitabha Buddha, all Dharma teachings proclaiming him real and his Pure Land is real, and in the indisputable reality of the Pure Land and what Master Shinran, Rennyo, and Honen, Masters Shinran, Honen, and Rennyo taught in proclaiming salvation through Amitabha Buddha. which results in rebirth in his pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. This is important, second only to my receiving Shinjin, proclaiming this, because the world has never needed this more than it needs it today. The worst thing you can give to someone who is dying of cancer is a watered down placebo. The world is dying. It's, as Shakyamuni Buddha said, we are like a house burning, and we are children stuck inside that burning house. And outside, the Father is offering the children everything. Come out, my beloved children. I love you. You're going to burn up in that house. And the children, they're afraid to get out of the house. They don't know what to do. They're confused. Amitabha Buddha, through the teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha in the larger sutra, is that voice crying out to us, come out. I offer you the greatest gift, my children who I love. I offer you the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace. You don't have to live this way anymore. You don't have to continually go from one burning house to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next for kalpas and endless life, rebirths, deaths. I have suffered enough. And I made a vow to the cosmos that whoever or whatever would save me from this suffering I've known since the day of my birth. And I've known a lot of suffering, guys. I didn't care if it was a god, a demon, a Buddha, or whatever. I would proclaim that individual, that being who saved me, from the rooftops till the day I died. And I would devote my life to propagating the salvation given to me by that being. And I didn't care who or what it was. Someone was listening. Someone saved me. Someone responded. That someone was the living Buddha, Amitabha Buddha. And the salvation that he has given me is the pure land of ultimate bliss and peace that he himself has created. And I proclaim that today as a member of the Jodo Shinshu Amidaji branch of Buddhism. I am an orthodox believer in the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist faith. Namo Amida Bu. I love you guys. Have a great week.